Good morning. Welcome to Monte Carlo for the 6th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. This, the Monaco E-Prix. Beautiful look down at the casino at the top of the hill and the yachts in the harbour waiting to watch the Formula E action unfold. Thank you very much for joining us for this first half an hour practice session. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me here in the commentary box in Monaco is the 1993 Formula Vauxhall Lotus champion Dario Franchitti. And Dario, Formula E on the streets of Monaco, well, last year it was tremendous.
Yeah, last year was potentially the best Formula E race we've ever had. It was wonderful. First time on the big circuit last year, and it really delivered, so I'm looking forward to see what they can do today.
Well, the last race we had was a double-header in Rome, and after this we'll be going to Berlin in 2 weeks' time. But arriving here in the Principality, after his double win in Rome, Mitch Evans launched himself up the championship order. This is how it stands coming into this single-header weekend, just the one race today, and Jean-Eric Vergne is at the top. 2 points ahead of Robin Freitz, 4 points ahead of Stoffel Vandoorne, 9 points clear of Mitch Evans, 11 points to Eduardo Mortara in 5th position. So 11 points covering the top 5 drivers. None of the top 3 in the standings have won a race yet so far this season. Reigning champion Nick de Vries is down in 8th position. Antonio Felix da Costa for DS Techeetah down in 12th place, just ahead of Nick Cassidy, Sebastian Buemi and Max Günther struggling a little for the Nissan Edams team. Sims, Sete Camara and Giovinazzi, the 3 pointless drivers so far this season. And as far as the team's championship is concerned, Mercedes have the advantage there. 9 points ahead of Tag Heuer Porsche and 14 points clear of DS Techeetah, but Venturi, Jaguar, Envision all in that fight. The top 6 are all pretty much right together, just 26 points separating the top 6. And this, Dario, is the iconic circuit.
I said I wasn't going to use the iconic word today, but 3.3 kilometers, Monaco. Such a brilliant track, and quick by Formula E standards. Curved braking zone into turn 1 of Saint-Devote, up the hill through Beau Rivage into Massenet. This long curving left-hander. Attack mode activation zone on the outside of Casino Square, down the hill through the Fairmont hairpin, then it's back through the tunnel into the heavy, fairly downhill braking zone of the new Nouvelle chicane, then through to back left-hander, skimming the barriers through the 2 points of the swimming pool complex, through Rascasse, back across the finish line, and that is a lap of this incredible Monaco circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Practice is going to get underway in 90 seconds time. You can see the pit lane there down on the right hand side. Track temperature 22 degrees, air temperature 19 degrees. Doesn't look as though we're going to get much rain. There is cloud around today. There was meant to be some rain, but actually it looks like it's holding off, hopefully. There is Sam Bird getting ready to go. 11th in the championship, Dario.
Yeah, it just has not come together yet, has it, for Sam? And we could have said the same thing about Mitch Evans pre-Rome in that dominant performance, but Sam needs a fight back this weekend, and today in Monaco, and you know, I think that's when he's at his best, when he's really got that sort of, he's got a fight to have, and I think today it's we're going to see a different Sam Bird from it that we've seen the rest of the season.
Jean-Eric Vergne is the championship leader, won the race here in season 5, beating Oliver Rowland to victory, and we'll see what he can do. Stoffel Vandoorne is 3rd in the championship.
Yeah, Stoffel's not too bad, but his teammate Nick de Vries, it all went wrong in Rome, didn't it? I think both those guys are obviously still championship contenders, but that man there, Mitch Evans in the Jaguar, he just catapulted himself into contention with that dominant double win, which is so unusual in Formula E when we were in the last race in Rome.
Yeah, only the 2nd driver to have done it. The other one was Sam Bird in New York back in season 4. Right, light goes green at the end of the pit lane. Out goes Nick de Vries, the reigning champion. He joins the circuit, followed by Stoffel Vandoorne, followed by Sam Bird. This is Antonio Felix da Costa as he makes his way out of the pit lane behind his DS Techeetah teammate of Jean-Eric Vergne, up through the right-hander of Saint-Devote, and we get on with the session. Now, Monaco, to all intents and purposes, is its opposite land in Formula E, because everywhere else Monaco is slow, one of the slowest tracks on the calendar, one of the bumpiest tracks on the calendar. It's kind of the opposite for these Formula E cars.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fast and it's flowing. It's the quickest circuit we race on all season long. And we talk about, F1 guys saying it's bumpy. I was looking for the bumps. The only bumps I could really see were on the braking zone for the Nouvelle chicane. Down that hill is where we saw the pass for the lead on the last lap last season. But otherwise it's pretty smooth, and you can see, so slipstream comes into it here. In the race this afternoon, the slipstream will be quite a big factor, I would say, as well. But yeah, very counter...
and clean as well. This is quite a clean track.
Oh yeah, but it's Monaco, isn't it? I think they use a toothbrush to clean the pavements during the night.
Here's Da Costa.
Okay, can hear you in the channel.
You can hear the slight scratch in the radio, and that's one of the problems. All these buildings, all this building work, all the scaffolding makes it difficult for the radios to work consistently throughout the circuit, and the drivers, and having to impart information to the engineers and vice versa as they're driving around. It makes it a little bit more difficult. So you have to pick the spot on the track that you talk to or get talked to.
Hashtag Monaco E-Prix.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Full course yellow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow, full course yellow.
Scott Elkins, the race director, deploying the full course yellow just as a test in the early stages of this free practice session. Tobias points out that Antonio Felix da Costa won both races of the first Berlin doubleheader at the end of season 6. I take your point. I take your point, Tobias. I guess technically he did win that doubleheader. It doesn't feel like that to me because that was the sort of 6 races in 9 days in Berlin. So he did win doubleheader, but you know.
Full course yellow ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Green flag.
Full course yellow ending, and away we go again as Evans comes up the hill. Nick Cassidy weaving around. There is attack mode on the right-hand side, up at Casino Square.
You see the bumps here, that's where the side streets come in. That's where we walked from the hotel this morning. But you see as the side streets enter the race circuit, that causes those bumps where you see the cars moving out to the right to try and find the smoothest route down the hill into Mirabeau.
The 2 Mercedes through Portier, under the tunnel.
This is the point. The guys have done a lot of simulator running, and pretty quickly here you can work out if what you learned in the simulator is actually realistic or not, as far as energy figures and actually just car setup as well.
It's a circuit that the teams and drivers know pretty well. There's not a huge amount of surprises, whereas when we go to somewhere like Jakarta at the beginning of June, where there's not a lot of information, the teams are going to be a little bit more blind on arrival, as the Jaguars come through the exit of the swimming pool, then up to Raskas. A bit of backing off here and there, but talking to Stoffel van Dorn, who's here at the head of the field, and he says that the toughest part of Formula E now is that group qualifying. Getting into that top 4 in your qualifying group is the toughest and almost most important part of the weekend now.
And why did what was the difficulty? Was it traffic, or was it just getting the tyres at the right?
Because you have to be right on, you have to be fully on it. It's not, oh, you get a banker lap and then it's all right and then you do another. It's like he was saying that you have to be on the edge just the whole session, finding that time. Because then once you get into the duels, it sort of is what it is. You do your best lap at 250 and you go through or you don't go through. Whereas he says that that qualifying groups part is really tough.
It's interesting. And Lucas de Grassi said something kind of similar. He said, one slight mistake in any of the sessions here, whether it's qualifying, even in practicing, damage the car, he said, and your weekend's over. So the level of pressure the drivers are feeling is quite extreme, I would say. But that's part of the job, is handling that.
There is Sam Bird, who was on his way through the order in the way that Mitch Evans was during Rome. Didn't quite get the the results that Evans did and ended up not finishing the second race of the weekend.
Yeah, 5th in the first one. So we sort of talk about, Sam needs a fight back, but you know, I think the pace is obviously there. It's just difficult when your teammate wins both races and you come away with the 1/5 position. Not that that man James Barkley would have been complaining.
No, certainly not.
No.
Da Costa across the line now, 3rd. Quickest, well, slots down to 4th, but the lap times are dropping. He moves out the way of Nick Cassidy on the climb up Au Rivage. Antonio Felix da Costa, winner here last year. Cassidy has had a bit of a tricky year so far. A few things going wrong here and there over the course of the season. Missed quite a lot of running in Rome with a drive shaft problem, and from then on he was just sort of on the back foot. And as you were saying, what Lucas de Grassi said, one kind of slip and one lack of running, and you're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, with practice time so limited. Yeah, it means you've got to be spot on. You've got to have a perfect weekend. And a couple of team principals were saying here in Rome, because, as you said, Jack, all the teams know the circuit so well, they really expect this race to be even closer, qualifying to be closer, this race to be closer than we've seen so far this season. So that should be quite interesting this afternoon.
Cassidy's first race on Monaco was here last season. Despite living in the Principality, he'd never raced here. Now he has. In fact, a lot of the Monaco rookies struggled a little last season. Jake Dennis was another one of them, so interested to see what they can do this year as he comes through Rascasse up towards Anthony Nogues at the final corner, named after the man who invented this race in 1929.
Askew, obviously a rookie this season, he suggested he didn't even expect to ever race at Monaco. It was never on his sort of career path. He did the road to Indy. Thought he was going to race in IndyCar. He did for a while, and then Michael Andretti brought him over here, so it was all a bit new for him, and he was loving the experience. But there's that point where you show up here as a rookie and you see all the boats and the glamour and all that, and you've just got to get on with it and just do the job and get to work. So you can't be too distracted by the fact that it's Monaco, and it's just another race.
Is Askew the only driver in the field to have raced at Indy and Monaco now?
I think he is. I'm just looking through. Yeah, I believe he is.
There goes the Mercedes and the Porsche. Then here's Van Dorn coming into the hotel hairpin. 3rd in the championship, 2nd in the opening race in Diriyah, 3rd in the first race in Rome, 2 pole positions. Mercedes have taken 3 of the 5 pole positions this season. Haven't converted it into a victory yet for Van Dorn. De Vries did take pole and win. No, he didn't win, did he? Sorry, he didn't take pole, but he won the opening race in Diriyah. So they've not won a race from pole position this season, Mercedes, despite taking 3 of the 5.
Yeah, Stoffel missed the attack mode, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that cost him heading through Tabac. I love Tabac. Oh, just a little bit of a lift at the first part of swimming pool. See how much curb he jumps over there. Car doesn't look great. Car's sliding around. Stoffel making a lot of corrections. Let's hear it as he comes. You hear the front tires sliding. Yeah, it's not. This is the point where he goes quickest, though. De Vries to the top so far. It's Stoffel second, yeah. Your car looks terrible. They're 1-2. Look how steep that run is out of Sandoval up the hill. You've got to get that exit absolutely right. Get to the throttle as early as you possibly can. Look how the corner, as you approach, imagine we're sitting higher with the camera than the driver. The corner appears. It's a completely blind entry, which the outside shot doesn't really do that. How steep it is and how blind it is justice.
Pascal Wehrlein, 7th in the championship, won in Mexico City, but then Porsche sort of slipped back into their normal lower end of the top 10 position, which is kind of the trend we saw from them last season. You know, the odd race of looking like real contenders, but most of the time 6th to 9th would be where they would settle down.
And you think about this as quite obviously a smooth circuit, quite flowing, quite fast, very Mexico-like in the speed of the corners. This could suit Porsche today. You could hear the rear tyres on the edge of locking up as he braked for the chicane. This is driver's eye view as we just leave it. That's a great camera, right to the apex.
Through to back.
To back is that old school Formula E street circuit type corner, isn't it? No runoff, no sight lines moved back. There's barrier on the entry, barrier on the apex, and barrier on the exit. You better get it right.
The Envision cars back in the pits, as are the Porsches now. Bird, Di Grassi, Mortara have all been through. Evans is on a lap now, but he hasn't actually set a lap time so far. That's why there's 21 cars up there. Tinctum arriving on the edge, isn't he, coming into the swimming pool?
Good man. This bodes well for today, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Tinctum's got good experience here, hasn't he? F3, F2, so...
Yeah. Certainly has.
And double point score for the Neo guys last time out in Rome, in the last race in Rome, so that was fantastic. Tinctum up to P7, 34.6, so 4/10 off the quickest Nick de Vries in the Mercedes. So yeah, I think it could be quite tasty this afternoon. See what Dan Tinctum can do.
Tinctum won the sprint race in Formula 2 last season, beating Oscar Piastri and Yuri Vips, which is not a bad effort. Obviously, I think that was some kind of reverse grid. I don't recall the exact regulations, but nevertheless, Piastri and Vips are a strong duo to beat as he comes down into the hairpin dictum. And yeah, his teammate Oliver Turvey sort of grabbed the limelight a little with his strong performance, but Tinctum picked up his first Formula E points as well, as Lucas Di Grassi is in attack mode. He's 300ths up after the middle sector.
He was absolutely captain excitement on the brakes, though, into the Nouvelle chicane, and pretty close to the wall and exit. See the brakes glowing in the front wheels.
17 minutes to go. Di Grassi across the line for a lap at 250 kilowatts. It's pretty much the first 250 lap we've seen, and it's a 34.112. A few other quick laps coming in with Roland Askew, Sete Camera all pushing, but it's still very much the early stages of this session as Di Grassi goes to the top, as I say, on the podium on 2 occasions, not one in Monaco, Lucas Di Grassi.
And as we've seen, teams in the previous races this year put a lot, with this new qualifying format, are putting a lot of emphasis on qualifying more than energy running. And in fact, in Saudi, I think we didn't see hardly any race running before the race itself, the first day, because qualifying is so important. Track position is so important now, as close as the field is with this new qualifying format that we have this year with the duels. We're going to see the championship protagonists at the head of the field. It's so important that you, if you are one of those, you get up into the fight with the people you're racing for the championship.
New helmet for Jake Dennis this weekend as he comes up through...
Another one.
Yeah, as he comes up through Casino Square. He goes past his teammate Oliver Askew.
With an identical white helmet.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
And now into the left-hander at the hotel hairpin, almost like handbrake turned that, it looked like.
Very interesting technique. Yeah. Carried a load of speed in and then, as you say, just parked at the apex to get the car to rotate. Just slid all the way out of Portier into down through the tunnel.
Now down to the Nouvelle chicane, the old Nouvelle chicane, because it is just the standard one this year, as opposed to the slightly different configuration Formula E ran last season. Dennis into Tabac.
He's still got about another 20 centimetres to the barrier there, but at the swimming pool, yeah, maximum attack.
He's pushing, isn't he? He's 1.2 seconds up on Di Grassi after 2 sectors.
This lap is really flowing so far.
Final corner and out towards the line then. And Dennis goes fastest by 1.5 seconds ahead of Lucas Di Grassi. But again, we haven't had a lot of full power laps so far in this session, but that was a decent run from Jake Dennis, who probably did the lap of the weekend in Monaco. I think it was his quarter-final or something like that, and it was a phenomenal
in Rome.
Phenomenal. Yeah, in Rome. What did I say?
Yeah, in Monaco.
Oh, we are in Monaco now, though.
It's lovely. You see him trying the attack mode activation zone. And as he's driving around on the in-lap, he's trying to think about the lap, where he could do better, what the car was doing. And his engineer's saying, yeah, try attack mode, and giving him all these different instructions. So the workload on the Formula E drivers, quite exceptional. You see Antonio Giovinazzi over to the left, 17th quickest at the moment. I think a baptism of fire is probably a fair way to describe Giovinazzi's Formula E career so far. Yep,
absolutely. He has the worst qualifying average on the grid, Antonio Giovinazzi. Da Costa coming down now as he gets a little bit balked by Stoffel van Dorn. It was a steering issue for Mitch Evans, so he had to come into the pits, have that corrected, and then back out on his way. So he's there in 15th place at the moment. Jaguar feeling confident coming into this weekend because they had good pace last year, and Evans was in the fight for the win. Here comes Jean-Eric Verne.
It looks low grip. If you look at the Fairmont hairpin in a second, where Da Costa's about to come into, there's a new surface, and it looks like quite low grip just here. And when the cars are at racing speed, yeah, it looks like they're sliding around quite a bit on that. You see the new reclaimed land ahead. That wasn't there last year. That used to be the sea. Remember when Senna crashed there? That was the Mediterranean Ocean.
Evans goes third quickest. We're with Da Costa as he comes into the chicane. He's starting to push a little more now. There is the DS Techeetah garage.
That's Carlos Tavares with the glasses on, the big boss of the Stellantis group. He's a proper racer. He campaigns like a little chevron in his time off. So it's interesting, the two guys that are sort of in charge of the Stellantis race program, massive race fans, as the Rocket Venturi of Edo Mortara takes a little shortcut at the old Nouvelle chicane.
Askew's gone second fastest in the Andretti, so Dennis first, Askew second. This is Alexander Sims coming down towards Tabac. Sims currently in 19th position. He's on a cool-down lap at the moment. He's 11 seconds off in the first sector, and he's on an in-lap at the moment, in fact. That's Roland. Roland coming into the pits. I presume that Sims will follow too. There is Sims on the right-hand side, as Roland returns to the pit lane with less than 12 minutes to go.
The Mahindra guys, they need a clean day today. They've had a lot of incidents. They've caused a lot of the safety cars, and some of them, I mean, in Rome, Roland, he was involved in it. He certainly did not cause it. He was, I think, an innocent victim. So they need a day with no incident and try and get some points on the board.
They've had at least one retirement in every race this season, Mahindra, and 2 retirements in Rome. Over the course of the year, they've had 6 retirements in 5 races. The only other team close to that is Dragon, who've had 2.
Yeah.
Dragon are the only team to have had 2 retirements, and then Mahindra are in next with 6. It's really remarkable.
And again, a lot of that I don't think is their fault. I mean,
no, absolutely.
Roland was just turfed off at one point in Rome. As we see Andre Lotterer in the Porsche starting a lap, he's got it wound up. You see the halo shining blue above his head. Oh, good camera angle.
Up the hill with Lotterer into Matinee.
Skims the barrier now down the hill. You see him pulling over to avoid the biggest of the bumps as he comes into Mirabeau. Look at the camber of the road. Back over to the right, trying to carry as much speed as possible through the Fairmont hairpin, but it's just not. None of them are rotating through the middle. It's like the cars are just sliding across the surface. The right-hander back onto the seafront through the tunnel. Now they'll be thinking about the braking zone for the chicane. How late can you brake? First time you've got the thing wound up. Approaching the corner quite a bit quicker than before. We've got a yellow flag somewhere on the lap.
Sanderbot, as Lotterer now comes through the middle sector split. And we'll see how he is doing compared to those. He's a quarter of a second up on Jake Dennis's time, so pushing on this lap, Lotterer, as we've seen. But it looks a lot more in control than Dennis's lap did. Track will be evolving all the time, right up to the wall here at Anthony Nogues, up the curve a little bit and out to the line. And Andre Lotterer in the Porsche goes quickest by just over 0.3 of a second. Jean-Eric Verne immediately slots into second place behind him in the DS Techeetah, 0.2 away from Lotterer. Lotterer's best result here, 7th in season 5 for DS Techeetah, so that's his best Formula E result around the Principality, his best ever result, I think, around the Principality. Cassidy slots into 6th place as Verne, having completed his lap, is still pushing a little. Bird getting pushed back into the pits, down in 18th place at the moment, Sam Bird. So they change the tyres, ready for a final run, where I think we'll see a flurry of quick laps. Here we go on board with Antonio Felix da Costa.
And the first thing we got is this long curved braking zone into Sandoval. You hear him locking the wheels a little bit back to throttle, a little bit slow back to throttle. Yeah, again, from the commentary booth, it's much easier to do. Up through Beau Rivage. Pops over the hill into Massenet. Just keeping it over to the left as much as possible to open up Casino Square. You hear the car hitting the ground. And just watch the car slide here. The driver has to take the hand off the wheel to get it through the Fairmont hairpin, all the curb. Shortcutting the corner as much as possible. Didn't get the apex very well at all onto the seafront. Trying to straight line as much as possible now. Stay over to the left to open up the braking zone, so they brake in a straight line. That's where da Costa took the lead and the win of the race on the last lap last season. That cracking move. So well judged. Skimming the barriers through to back. Antonio with loads of speed right left there. Clunking the curbs. Oh, a bit of oversteer into the swimming pool into the second half. Decent lap so far from da Costa. Let's see how much of the curb he uses on the exit. Get over to the right, shortcut the distance to the timing line. And da Costa goes quickest.
Okay, P1, mate, P1, 1.5 tenths. We box this lap, feedback.
1 minute 32.033 for Antonio Felix da Costa then, as he goes up into first place. 6.5 minutes to go, 1.5 minutes a lap, so won't get that'll probably be da Costa's run done there, as we now have Nick de Vries coming into the Sandoval. Climbs the hill. He's not on a 250 lap at the moment.
Yeah, he's just done one.
He's just done one, isn't he?
32.3.
Slotted into 4th position. Mercedes didn't have the sort of outright pace last year. They were in the mix, and Van Dorn was out in qualifying Group 1. Nick de Vries accidentally knocked himself out of full power. So there were mitigating circumstances to their poor performance, but they also weren't absolutely on it anyway, even in sort of the dry conditions. As Van Dorn comes out across the line now, he's at 250, personal bests in sectors 1 and 2, and it puts him 6th, 0.3 away from da Costa. 6 away from da Costa, 0.3 away from his teammate. Dan Ticktum has just gone 3rd quickest. And that is why it was maybe not a very quick lap for Van Dorn.
Or maybe because it was a quicker lap.
Yeah.
A small shortcut. Yeah, great job by Dan Ticktum in the Neo.
5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, and just like that, the session's almost over.
Yeah.
The drivers, the teams have got to be so on it, because there's just no practice time. Even though we start at 7:15 in the morning, which is distinctly unsociable.
Mortara up into Massenet.
Looking good so far. Venturi changing direction well. Local team. This really is their home race. They're based in Monaco. Overall best of anybody. 10.5 up through the first sector.
Good first third of the lap for Edo Mortara.
Bit of a slide though into the right-hander, just potentially lost a bit of time there. Decent onto the seafront through the tunnel.
Not had a great history in Monaco, Mortara. His first visit was the 2009 GP2 race, where he retired from the feature race, finished 13th in the sprint race, and then retired from the Formula E race here in season 5, and finished 12th last season. So nothing to write home about for Edo in Monaco, but he is 3/10 up after the middle sector here. Well on it through the swimming pool.
And this is a man who won Macau. How many times was it? 8 times or something? So
yeah.
he's a master of these type of fast and flowing street circuits. As he comes to the last corner, straight line the exit. Back to the throttle as early as I've seen.
Top of the times. 1 minute 31.611, 4/10 ahead of Da Costa. Bird goes into 5th place in the Jaguar.
7/10 back though, he won't be happy with that. Bit of traffic jam going on at the Fairmont.
Lotterer goes into 2nd place. Tictum's pushing again, so he's already up there in 5th position, but he's on another push lap here, Dan Tictum, and he's only 500ths down on Mortara in Sector 1. Here comes the Neo driver down into the chicane now. Oh, he's locked that one up and straight on.
Yeah. Well, good for him. He's found a limit.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. He's pushing like crazy. He's not just accepting the status quo. He's absolutely pushing the limit. And you see his teammate ahead, Oliver Turvey. And they're a great combination. The very experienced Turvey, the rookie Dan Tictum. It's working well.
Roland has jumped up into 4th place. Jake Dennis is on another push lap, and he is a 10th down after the middle sector on Mortara's time, so he might be able to jump up into the top 3 or 4. Here's a look at Tictum again, arriving locked up into the Nouvelle chicane and straight. I mean,
yeah, he
was a bit late.
Yeah, he started to lock and he just released the brake. He thought, yeah, that's not going to work. Didn't want to flat spot the tires, do any damage. So, but yeah, definitely found the limit. Jake Dennis moved up to 3rd place, 31.8.
2 minutes to go. As you say, Dennis into 3rd, then Da Costa 4th, Roland 5th, Tictum 6th, then the 2 Jaguars of Bird and Evans. Freitz is on an out lap now, as is Stoffel Van Dorn. Van Dorn's lap time, by the way, got deleted because of track limits at the chicane, so that's why he's down in 20th place. He did do a lap time that, to be fair, is only currently good enough for 11th position. Here's Max Günther in the Nissan.
Max Günther, 17th in the championship. And he's got all the potential in the world. I mean, go back to in Chile when he won in the BMW Andretti car. Just all that potential he had, and it's just not clicking at the moment. I think the Nissan guys are having a pretty tough time as well. You see his teammate, previous champion Sebastian Buemi, but yeah, I think you can say this for a lot of the drivers. They deserve the drivers deserve better. Yellow at turn 1.
Here comes Günther through the final turn, right up to the wall.
That'll be the limit then.
Neither Nissan has made it into the qualifying duels so far this season, and Günther goes 4th. That's a solid little lap, that, from the Nissan Edams driver.
Buemi, P2.
Wow.
All right.
Nissan getting going. De Vries is up on both of them, though, after the middle sector. Cassidy's done a good first sector, too. So here comes De Vries. De Vries now fastest, 4/10, clear of Eduardo Mortara. A lock up in front from, I think, a Mahindra as they came into the first corner, but a good lap there from De Vries. Bird, Evans, Verne, Turvey, De Grassi, Freitz, all on quick laps here, so the lap times are going to fall.
Cassidy's on a lap, Jack.
Yeah, where you see a difference between blue flashes and purple flashes on the tower on the left, that's just whether they are in attack mode or in full power mode. It's the same power usage, but just different ways of getting there, and that's an interesting way of getting around Raskas from Nick Cassidy.
And he's 9 thousandths down at the moment. Let's see how much he lost with that lockup. Mitch Evans to P7.
Checkered flag falls, Cassidy takes it and goes 2nd. Good lap that from Cassidy. Needs a decent weekend as the Envision Virgin driver, just the Envision driver. And Cassidy goes into 2nd place. Then De Grassi up into 11th spot. Jean-Eric Verne into 8th position. Up into 16th goes Robin Fright, so quite a way back from his teammate. Turvey's on a full power lap as he comes through the chicane. He locks up as he makes his way in. After the first sector, Turvey is 4 tenths down. His teammate Tictum is suddenly down in 15th. Remember when we were saying what a good job Tictum did? Turvey's 9 tenths down after the middle sector, so this lap will put him around about Tictum. Verline hasn't had a particularly good run down in 16th place. And Alexander Sims, I don't think, has had a full power lap. He's taken the checkered flag, but he lost over a second in the middle sector, so maybe a mistake in there from Alexander Sims. Here comes Turvey, and he goes up into 18th place. Make that 17th place. So 17th for Turvey. And everyone now has taken the checkered flag. Verline and Mortara are on cooldown laps, but it's reigning champion Nick de Vries, who is quickest in the session. But Envision in there, Mortara in there. Quite a bit, we see this quite a bit actually in free practice 1, but a fairly large field spread overall. A second separating the top 14. It can often be quite a bit tighter than that, but de Vries and Cassidy have a 3 or 4 tenth advantage over the field.
Yeah, and a massive mix of manufacturers up front. The trick is this afternoon to do it when it counts, but also to get out of the group stages, you've got to do that lap at 220 kilowatts power and not the 250 kilowatts power that everybody's just done those laps at. So that the car will feel a lot different in that setting, will handle a lot differently, and the track will drive a lot differently too.
I still to this day, I'm a little bit surprised how many of them, how much focus is put on the 250 laps.
You've said that since the start.
I know.
I think you're right, Jack. Because
maybe do one, but surely the focus has got. But well, as a driver, how important is doing more laps at race power, i.e. the qualifying group power? Would that help you, or actually once you've done a couple, you've got your eye in?
You've generally got your eye in, but then you're looking for smaller and smaller margins. But if you get through the group stage, the worse you're starting is 8th. So you've really limited your risk after that point. But the teams are probably a lot smarter than you and I. Well, not probably. The teams are a lot smarter than you and I. So
yeah, exactly.
It'll be interesting to. I'm gonna have a chat with them and see what the justification is. Maybe they just want to go fast.
Yeah,
understandable.
A few practice starts coming in. Dennis on the left. This is on board with de Vries.
He's probably been trying to cool the tyres down on his lap after the checkered flag to try and simulate the conditions he'll have at the start of the race this afternoon. No warm-up lap. They will just drive, you know, what, 20 feet, 30 feet forward, and off they go.
Start from Sims. Buemi got the better one, didn't he? De Vries waiting his turn to take a practice start. He'll be hoping that he'll be starting on pole position for the actual race later on today. And it is Nick de Vries who was quickest in the first 3 practice session. A 10th ahead of Nick Cassidy, and then Eduardo Mortara 3rd, Da Costa 4th, Buemi up in 5th place. It was a good session that for the Nissan Edams pairing, although Gunther down in 11th position. Bird up in the top 7, Dennis in 9th spot. Stoffel van Dorn a little bit adrift. Robin Fright, 2nd place man in the championship, down in 20th position, and something must have gone amiss for Alexander Sims, because he was a long way, a second away from anybody else actually, even from Antonio Giovinazzi, so I'm sure he didn't get a full power run. But it's Nick de Vries then, quickest in the first 3 practice session. So, free practice 1 is done. Free practice 2 gets underway in just over an hour. No one really had any, and you can see there that it is a cloudy day. I think we're hoping not to have rain, but it's not the clear blue skies we had the last couple of days, Darren.
I'd be quite happy with some rain. I think
really, you want a bit of rain?
Spice things up even more. It's funny.
We don't need more spice in Formula E.
Yeah, your
I
head,
can't cope.
Your
Yeah,
head
exactly.
might explode.
Yeah.
You see Sam Bird there talking with the engineers, 7th quickest, and that discussion of where the car was wrong, what we can do to make it better. And that'll be going on up and down pit lane, all 22 cars and drivers.
Albert Lau, has he got like a sort of reflector screen on the laptop so we can't see what's on it or something? Or
Yes.
maybe, is that what that is?
That's exactly what that is.
Very smart, Albie. Very
But the guy
smart.
next to him hasn't.
Yeah,
something
yeah.
Like this. All the teams will be zooming in.
So, Nick de Vries, fastest, the reigning champion. There is Mitch Evans, making his way. Body language doesn't look great. Quite a lot of sort of head shaking and stuff. But
Yeah.
difficult to read.
Unless you're quickest. Oh yeah, that was definitely body language for the car's understeering a lot, I would say. Yeah, as Evans walks back with his engineer from the weighbridge, getting weighed by the FIA.
Well, don't forget you can get involved as well with Fan Boost. Scan the QR code on the bottom right, or vote online. And then vote online at FIAFormulaE.com/fanboost. You can only do one vote per day, and voting closes during the first half of the race this afternoon. At the moment, Antonio Felix da Costa is up at the top. Van Dorn in second, and then it's quite tight behind, isn't it? Roland, Vern, de Vries in there at the moment. Evans just outside. And it can be used in attack or defence, an extra power boost in the second half of the E-Prix later on this afternoon. So free practice 1 in Monaco for the 6th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Sam Bird ready to go. Stoffel Van Dorn looking for success. Jean-Eric Verne looking to win again on the streets of the Principality. As Mitch Evans made his way onto the track, the double winner in Rome a couple of weeks ago. Nick Cassidy in only his second visit. Dan Tipton was pushing hard from the outset. Set an impressive lap, ended up finishing 15th, but in the early stages was doing well. Oh, clipped the camera there. I think that was Tipton, wasn't it? Coming through, certainly one of the Neos on the exit of the swimming pool. Stoffel Van Dorn pushing. Lucas Di Grassi ended the session in 13th place for Rocket Venturi. His teammate Eduardo Mortara finished in 3rd spot. Jake Dennis went to the top briefly, ended the session 9th. Jean-Eric Verne finished the session in 8th position for Diaz Techeetah. Eduardo Mortara went to the top of the times, but ended up 3rd quickest because this man, Nick de Vries, came through to set the quickest time in free practice 1 ahead of the Monaco E-Prix. So we will be back with you in just over an hour for the second free practice session. Qualifying gets underway at 10:45 local time, and the race gets underway 3 o'clock this afternoon local time here in Monaco. The 6th round of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. Reigning champion Nick de Vries is 8th in the championship standings at the moment, but he has gone quickest in FP1. We've still got a long, long way to go today.